Welcome. Today's talk is being in your best place. Although I call these talks, they're also messages, and mostly the messages are guided to myself via archangels, star beings, and I have to, of course, as far as I'm concerned, try and pass them on. Now, being in your best place is also about being in your joy. And it's very much related to what we're going through on our Ascension Journeys at this time. This time, relating to and starting between now, January 2023, and the spring equinox in March. This, of course, is only the beginning of the massive changes that are taking place now. But it's going to help us realise that we are finally over the cusp and heading into our new world, the Aquarian, or some call it the Golden Age. I like to use the phrase golden, because some years ago, the Arcturians advised me that when I use light, I should, for meditations and healing, I should use golden light. This golden light coming to us from the centre of the universe, from the central sun. Coming, of course, physically to us through our own sun also. These last few years, I have been relaying the messages from the archangelic and star beings about the time that we're in now, the time that we are now entering. This time of massive change, where we are, as I like to phrase it, becoming human beings being human. This is all been happening because of the downloads we've been receiving all these years that have helped us move our frequency to a much higher vibration. And also, of course, we've been receiving other things such as light codes and other energetic vibrations. Especially of late, I've been receiving, like others, the light codes mainly from star beings, and they have enabled us, of course, this is what I've been guided, these light codes are actually enabling and opening up our strands of DNA that have so far been dormant, or at least been dormant for a very, very long time. For those of us whose consciousness is already around fifth dimensional, we shall really be starting to fully understand, or more fully understand, just what is actually happening now. We're going to more fully understand how things work, how things actually work. This is what I've been guided. Of course, it's not actually, it is going to happen overnight. I was going to say it's not going to happen overnight, but actually, some of it will happen overnight, especially the waking up. A lot of souls are going to be in this body awakening now. People that would never have called themselves spiritually aware, spiritually active, are suddenly going to be waking up, because they've been receiving this light as well. And now that they're receiving these light codes, whether they're aware of it or not, they are going to be having their DNA strands opened as well. Now, for some who are just awakening, of course, this is going to be, or could be, quite challenging, because they know something's going on. They know something's changing within them, but they're not aware of what that is. They're not even aware of spiritual energy or light, some of them. So they're just going to notice things changing And of course, that could be quite difficult for some people. And of course, a lot of people who are just awakening now will also be realizing that because their new strands of DNA have opened and the old strands have opened, that they're going to find that they're maybe clairvoyant or psychic or have other gifts. All these things are because we are becoming this new human being. I don't have to go into it in any detail here because this isn't the place for that. Come and see me for a talk or listen to a talk or find some of my other videos regarding this. But I have another message that I have been told very urgently that we should listen to at this time. And the thing I've been told to transmit is that it's especially important for us to be in our best place. The way we can all do this is by being in our joy. Being in our joy as much as we possibly can. This is the most important thing we can all do now, as these massive changes are being brought into our physical world. By as many of us as possible staying in our best place, by being in our joy, we can change the vibration of our world and all those in it through resonance. And this is only possible now because so many of us have raised our vibration to 4th, 5th dimensional consciousness and even higher for some. This has allowed us to be able to send out these feelings of joy and bliss into all of the lower worlds below 5th density. Even more importantly, to all living in these worlds. Okay, so most of us will not be able to keep in our joy 100% of the time. To be honest, that's only to be expected. However, now that we are aware of the importance of this, we can surely pull ourselves back into our best place whenever we feel our mood or demeanour changing. We need to be able to do this as soon as possible. Let's face it, we're still human and have times when we fall out of this joyousness. And for some, of course, just getting there to start with will be challenging enough. So never be hard on yourself if you do slip and fall out your joy, or you're finding it really challenging to even get into your joy in the first place. This is work in progress for some. So never be hard on yourself. The important thing is to stay in a joyous state as much as we are able. And we're all different. That's going to be different for everybody. Now, there's also the issue of the things we may need to do. For instance, in our work, if we work in a normal 9-to-5 job, or in looking after others that expect us to be there for them, that need us. In the past, this may have taken you out of your joy. And this is one of the things we really need to change now. Whilst we're doing things that in the past have maybe not made you feel joyful, you have to look at the gratitude aspect of all things and try and find ways that you can stay in your joy whilst you do these things that in the past have taken you maybe a bit out of your joy. This is not going to be easy for most of us, But once you find the trick or the way for you to get your mindset right on this, then it will be a lot easier than it is at the moment. So, what's the message? Stay in your joy. Be in your joy as much as you possibly can. And vibrate that energy into the world and all living beings in this world and our worlds. By being in our joy, we are radiating this vibration out to all others. And the effect of that is that this is going to help bring these changes that are occurring now ASAP to us. This is why it's so important. When this resonance is set up from us vibrating this vibration of joy into others, they will vibrate it out into the world also. And what will happen is it will change the whole vibration of Gaia because of our vibrations together. And this will allow, if you like, the gateways to be open to make these final shifts and changes in our world. That's it, I think, for today. But just remember, today, if you're listening to this, you have woke up breathing and been blessed with another day of life, like me. A day that you have been given the opportunity to help change the feelings of all those around you to be in their joy and in their best place. So let's do it. Let's do it together. Let's change this world. Let's make it the Garden of Eden we've waited for all these decades, eras, aeons. It's up to us. It's our world. The star beings often say to me, we're here to guide you more than being helpers. And what they're referring to is it's a bit like Star Trek, where there's certain things they're not allowed to interfere with in our evolution. And there's certain ways they can interfere in certain things. But they are guiding us in all these things, through myself, through myriad of others, who are channeling these messages of hope and love and unity, so that we could move into our new world as quickly as possible. And all we have to do is be joyful. What's difficult about that? Namaste. Until next time, stay joyful. Stay in your best place.